Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. This is your instructor of psychology in second year, Ms. Kawal Ali Abasi. First of all, we all pray for the good health and safety of all of us, specifically from this pandemic of COVID-19. May Allah keep you with your family members safe and sound. So let us begin with the first chapter, which is Developmental Psychology. But before going that, let me tell you one important thing, and you should keep this thing in your mind, that in first year, we mainly studied about experimental psychology. You must be knowing that the topics like perception, sensation, emotion, thinking, memory, learning, nervous system, they mainly belong to the domain of experimental or physiological psychology. Whereas in second year, you people will be studying about different areas or domains of psychology. As you might have gone through the contents of your book, the domains included here in second year are developmental psychology, abnormal psychology, educational psychology, social psychology. So here you will be studying about different domains. So that is why the book of psychology is also known as, or the contents of psychology in second year is also known as areas, different areas of psychology. Got it? So psychology is a subject which has got various multiple areas, like there are more than 60 subjects or 60 domains of psychology. So in first year you studied only one domain, whereas in second year you will be studying very briefly. It's not that you will be studying the whole domain. You will be studying very briefly about different domains of psychology. So let us begin with the first chapter, which is developmental psychology. Okay, let us go through the table of contents. We will be studying about meaning and definition of developmental psychology, scope of this subject, growth, development, maturation, difference between growth, development, and maturation, principles of growth and development, and aspects of development. So first of all is meaning and definition. Now, first thing you must be knowing that this subject was introduced by a psychologist who was American, G.S. Hall, at the end of 20th century. Now, developmental psychology is basically the psychology of any individual, because it focuses on human growth and changes across the lifespan, including physical, cognitive, social, intellectual, perceptual, personality, and emotional growth. Now, you must know one thing, that this word change is very important with respect to developmental psychology, because it focuses on human growth, human development. So the whole sequence of human growth and development is basically a change. When you are born till you become an adolescent, after that you become an adult, then you go to the old age. All this process is basically a change in your personality, a change in your physique, a change in your mental capability. So we can say that developmental psychology basically studies the changes that the individual experiences throughout the lifespan. So these changes are related to different areas, like physical development, cognitive development, cognition, your understanding, your awareness of the world around you. You see, with the passage of time, you become more aware, you become more understandable about the world around you. Social, you have more network of people around you, intellectual, perceptual, personality and emotional growth. So all these, and there are so many other areas as well. So it studies human growth and development even before the birth till the end of the life of any individual. Is it clear? So this is basically what is meant by developmental psychology. Now coming to the scope of this subject. Now as you know that it studies the whole lifespan, the scope of this subject is definitely very wide. So it is relevant when individual begins life and continues till he leaves the world. So throughout this time period, whatever changes took place in the physical, in the cognitive, in the social, in the perceptual abilities of any individual, they all come under the domain of developmental psychology. Individual's lifespan is characterized by ebb and flow of development. Now, what is meant by ebb and flow? Ebb and flow means the decline and growth, coming and going. Now, in developmental psychology, we do not only study the growth and development. No doubt that characterize the major area of this subject. But here we also study the decline in this growth and development. Now, how this decline comes? When we talk about the developmental psychology, should be concerned, or it should be relevant with the what we call it as the growth of an individual. So you see, during old age, your growth basically declines. An individual's growth declines. So as old age is also important part of this subject, all the processes, all the changes, all the illnesses occurring during old age, they all belong to this particular subject. So it does not, as whatever I have said, it is mentioned in the next point of this slide, that development does not mean mere growth. It also includes all the changes taking place during old age. So there is mostly decline in old age, decline in the perceptual ability, decline in the intellectual ability, decline in the physical growth. So this field of study, which basically studies old age and all the processes related to old age, is known as gerontology. Okay, fine. I think so. I have mentioned that in the next slide. Yes. So different branches of developmental psychology include child psychology, psychology of adolescence, adult psychology, psychology of aging, which is known as gerontology. Okay, now coming to the very important topic, which is growth. Now, growth refers to the changes that natural aging brings about in the individual's physical structure, muscles, organs, nervous system, glands, bones. All the processes that are naturally taking place inside or outside of human body, they belong to the growth. We say that growth is happening, growth is taking place. Compare yourself when you were very little as a child and yourself now. There is a big difference. So, because all of your muscles, they have grown up, organs have developed, your skull size has also increased. There is change, or there is change in the chemical secretions of gland and bones. So everything has changed from its structure and its size. This is a natural process. Like we don't manipulate this process. Human beings do not manipulate this process. This is process which is taking place naturally. Is it clear? So growth refers to the changes that are naturally taking place inside or outside of any human body. Now, increase in height, broadening of bones, muscle changes in the internal structures, these are all examples of growth. Now, one more important thing which you should keep in your mind, because when we will be doing development, then you should keep this point in your mind, that growth refers to measurable quantitative changes in height, weight and strength. This is very important, because whatever is changing, it is observable. Fine, you are gaining height, that gaining height is observable. You are gaining weight or strength, that is observable. It's not that it is a hidden process which cannot be seen. So it is observable. So you see, whatever is observable is measurable. We can measure it. We can measure your height. We can measure your weight. We can measure your strength. We can measure your intellectual capability. We can measure your emotional stability. So all these things can be measured. Fine. So this is very important for you to understand, because when we will be doing the difference between growth and development, then this is the point that should be in your mind, that growth refers to measurable quantitative changes in height, weight and strength. So what can be measured? It can be expressed in terms of any quantity, in terms of unit, or in simpler words, it can be expressed in terms of numbers. Second important thing is that growth is not a simultaneous process. Rather, it is a gradual process. Growth is not occurring at the same time. It's not happening that you at once, from the baby, you at once grow to the height of an adult individual. No, it is a gradual process taking place very slowly. Very slowly. Is it clear? So, first thing, that growth is measurable. Second, it is not a simultaneous process. It is a gradual process. It is taking place gradually.